Hey, what's happening? What's popping, everybody? Today we are doing the NPL Wars Game 1 versus Schady, one of the greats, one of the best, and I just got done watching him play a hour and a half game versus my other buddy Paul. But his team of 6, if you notice, he does not have a crocodile, so that means my I gotta keep in mind my Tyranitar is probably gonna be clicking superpower because his initial switch in should be the Keldeo. Fortunately, I don't have Thunder Punch on this set. That's something to keep in mind. That also means that his rocker is most likely Clefable, so let me write that down. Rocks, Clef, question mark. A couple of things I noticed about the team is he has 2 potential defoggers. I got my defogger. How do I win this one? Well, he's unaware Clef, so if I can get rid of that, I can potentially win with my Mew. So I'm gonna lead off. Let me think. If he's Rocks Clef, then I don't want him to initially pressure me. But if he leads off with, I think I'm just gonna lead off with my Entei to prevent that. And also, okay, so now is Zapdos versus my Entei. Now I am choice banded, and he does not have the switch in, so that's really good. That's something to keep in mind. Now he could be offensive, but do I need HP on this? Now let me double check. I think my speed tier, I have 204 speed. Does that yeah, so I should be able to outspeed Adamant Lucario with my spread. So I'm just gonna go for a Sacred Fire because I don't want to take the recoil with Flare Blitz, and we're gonna see if we can get the 50-50 roll here. And he getting a burn on literally everything will be extremely beneficial. So this is a very, very important turn if I do manage to get the burn, because if I burn his incoming Latios, if I get damage on that Keldeo as well, dude, that'd be very, very good for me. And I have 2 defensive. I got a couple switch-ins to Keldeo if he does go Keldeo in that response, but if he goes Lati, I gotta think. If he goes Lati, I'm not sure if I want to go hard T-Tar because he doesn't have a Crocodile. Tyranitar is gonna be a little bit more useful for me. So his initial Latios switch in, if he does go out into that, I do think that I'm gonna go Togekiss first, as he'll probably pull a double, but he's probably not gonna pull a double with his Lati, making an aggressive switch on Tyranitar. Or well, if Lati pulls a double, if he does go out into this, next it's not going to. Okay, so yeah, so he goes into this. He is defensive, and I do get the burn. Okay, so that's huge. Now, if he's Dragon Dance, that means he is burned. So let me do a couple calcs here, just to confirm what kind of EVs is on him. So Mega Latios. So the Secret Fire did 40 to 48, revealing that. Let's see if he's okay. So he is offensive on his Latios. Now I could go for another Sacred Fire, and I can totally take out this Latios. But if I do that, I can still take a hit from Scolipede with my current HP. I know that is Zapdos outspeed, so that's gonna be very good for my that's very good knowledge. That means I gotta play a little bit more aggressive with Garchomp now that his Zapdos is faster than my Mega Garchomp. So I think what my play to make here, he's got no Crocodile, so I'm gonna go out into my Togekiss. As he Mega Evolves and he goes for a Roost. Okay. So What I'm going to do now is I need to capitalize on the potential Zapdos. I can go for a Toxic and status the Zapdos, but that will give him a free Volt Switch, as we did see Volt Switch on him. If I go in Tyranitar right now, I will have to predict here. I'll probably just go for a Superpower. If I go out into my... Yeah, so I'm going to go out into my Tyranitar, because he does go out into the Zapdos. Okay, so now he's going to Volt Switch out into his Keldeo here. As I have actually two different plays here. I can go for a Choice Banded Pursuit, and what that allows me to do, let me calc the damage here, if that's worth it or not, because it will potentially help me versus Keldeo. So anyways, I'm gonna go, let's see, Choice Banded Tyranitar. Okay, I'm gonna say he is timid. Banded Pursuit. Pursuit does 66 to 77 if I do catch him here. If I pursued him, that gives free reign to his Keldeo and to his Lucario. And he can always just roost up versus my Togekiss. So I can either go for Pursuit and get huge damage off onto him, or I can Superpower the Keldeo. Let's see how much Superpower does to Keldeo. Superpower is going to do 83 or 73 to 87, which is great to know. That's actually almost going to knock him out. What is my win con? My win con is potentially Keldeo. Okay. I'm going to go for a Pursuit here. No, let me think. He showed that he has Volt Switch. So I'm going to Pursuit here. His Pursuit is going to help me. Nice. Okay, nice. Now he has... So I'm going to pull hard right out into my Garchomp here. And what this is going to do is help me versus a potential T-Wave. I cannot afford my Entei to get T-Wave, so he does get up to the rocks. As I have a couple different plays here. Now I can get up my rocks. What rocks help me to do, or I can just go for a Stone Edge. Do I need rocks off my side of the field? Once again, if I were to attack here, what move would I go for? Would I go for an Earthquake? I don't think so. Earthquake, nor do I think he's going to stay in. If I'm going to make a move, what move is it going to be? Now I know he's not, so he could go out into, I think the play to make is to actually go for an attack. So I'm gonna go for Stealth Rocks, because he stays in, as that's fine, as he goes for a Moonblast. So next, what I want to do is go for Earthquake. Is what Earthquake's gonna allow me to do. Okay. Is he going to take this damage? Probably not. But if he does manage to... If he stays in, he's going to take a lot of damage, and I can revenge him. And if I get Earthquake damage off onto Fable... Now let's think about this. Can I pull a double here? Not really, because his Latios is still... So let me do a calc here. Garchomp. Garchomp. Versus Clefable. Okay, so if I'm going to click a move, it's going to be Earthquake. So we're going to go for an Earthquake here. Yeah. Because it should do around 80%. I don't think, I think he's probably just going to go out into his Latios. But once again, I have 2 defensive switch-ins to Latios. If he goes out into Zapdos though, that could be a problem. As I'll have to predict around the Zapdos. If he does go Zapdos. So my play is either going to Earthquake or Stone Edge. Great. As he's thinking Heart too, so this is a very, very critical turn. I want to really just want, I really just want to go for an Earthquake here. But if he goes Zapdos, I'm going to go for Earthquake here. That's what I'm going to go for. Just because if he does go out into his Zapdos, it's going to force me to predict. But at least I can put up sand again. And my Garchomp is my most expendable mon. As he yeah, oh my god, dude. So that crit obviously sucked. So I'm gonna say I'm sorry, because you know that's what good guys do apparently. But now he does not have a Keldeo switch in. So my play here to make is just once again go out to Keldeo. But if I go out, yeah, it's to go out into Keldeo. So if I go out in Keldeo, what move do I click? Do I click Icy Wind or Scald? I'm gonna click Scald here. See, sacks off his Clefable. I almost clicked Icy Wind just in case he did go out into Lottie, or I mean even Keldeo. Icy Wind into Keldeo is very, very good for me. But we're up in the game, and we both have rocks. We both have 2 mons weak to rocks, but I did get a burn onto his Latios. My Tyranitar is a huge threat to him, and we're very, very close with winning with Mew. So what do I have to do in order to win with Mew? 1, I have to Calm Mind versus his Zapdos? Question mark. Is he gonna have Toxic on Zapdos? What am I going to Calm Mind on? I could Calm Mind. Okay, so his team is very weak to Mew, right? He knows this. So his ways of revenging it is obviously going to be a Scolipede, but we have the Tanga Berry for that. If he goes Lottie here, as he does go Lottie here, so he knows I have 2 defensive switch-ins, which is fine. Now, I think with rocks up, I think a +2 Surf does kill me. So I'm going to switch in, even though Keldeo is very, very important, and I predict him to make a very aggressive play here, but I don't know if I can afford to capitalize on that. So let me think. Can I afford for my opponent to make a double here, as he brought his Lottie in on me, and he's shown that he is offensive. So I don't necessarily need Keldeo for his Scolipede because I have 2 berries for Scolipede. Keldeo and Keldeo kind of wash each other out. And I still have Togekiss for Keldeo. Zapdos is very weakened, and I have a few things for Lucario being my Entei that outspeeds it, that might be able to take a hit, and more importantly, my Mew. So what I'm going to do is go for a Scald, as he shows that he has no speed. So my play here to make is go out into Tyranitar. As he goes for a hidden power fighting. So now let's think about this play. He's shown that he's alright, let me think. Because I can always go out. So he's suggesting that he is not Calm Mind, so that's very good to keep in mind. So what I'm going to do is go out into my Togekiss here, as he literally cannot afford to go for another in-power fighting, and I want to keep a sack for his Keldeo. As he's in a position where he has to go for HP fighting. Another thing to keep in mind now is that I can set up onto his Latios with my Mew, which is very good for me because if I set up to +1, I win the game with Mew. I have the coverage to hit everything on his team for neutral damage. I will Oko his Scolipede regardless of berry if I'm at +1, and his Zapdos will unfortunately outspeed my Mew. Okay, so he goes for another in-power fighting. Fuck, come on, Showdown. Showdown's not showing me what the percentage of Zapdos is right now, which is very unfortunate. So I'm gonna go for an Air Slash here. Let's think about this play. I'm gonna go for a alright, 31%. I'm gonna go for an Air Slash here, because what this is going to allow me to do is if he goes for a... He cannot beat me 1v1. And I only have Mono Air Slash, and unfortunately it actually does suck because I do have Toxic on this Togekiss. Originally I did have Baton Pass, but it's kind of a 50-50. But I do also have Toxic, but because Thunderbolt should not be doing enough, what my plan is to do is to continuously Air Slash, and he leaves. So we'll wait for him, as he doesn't know if I'm Dazzling Gleam, but he does know I have special defense, as hopefully the ideal position for me is that he does not roost, but he goes out into the Zapdos and sack the Zapdos here. And even more ideal if he goes out into the Skull Peak to try to revenge me, as I do have the Kibia Berry, which reduces the special poison. He does probably. I do obviously show that I'm either a choice Togekiss because I'm not leftovers. It suggests that I'm either gonna be a berry or I'm gonna be choiced. Now it could be choice specs, I could be choice scarf, or I could be steel resist berry, or it could be poison resist berry. So logically, what Schady does is sack his Zapdos. And because of that, I'm gonna go for a Roost. I'm not gonna go for wait. Let's think. 31%. Does Sand take him out? Let me think. Sand does 6%. So I'm in a position where I have to go for Air Slash because yeah, Air Slash is my only play. If Sand killed Zapdos on the switch in, my play would be to go for a Roost, but I have to go for Air Slash on the Zapdos sack. If his Lucario goes down, I can win with Choice Banded E-Speed. It's my E-Speed as long as his Lucario is either Adamant or Special. My Entei will be able to outspeed his Lucario. Let me do a calc on how much E-Speed does to Entei. Entei's E-Speed does to Keldeo. If I do want to go the route of Entei being a game winner here. Keldeo. Entei. Extreme speed does 44 to 52% if he's no HP. But he could be bulky Scarf Keldeo. He could be a couple different sets, but I don't think that his Keldeo will have any bulk on it. Because I do have the Mew and the Togekiss. So he's in a position now that I feel very comfortable with. So he does sack his Zapdos here, as he's at 6%, so that Sand would have killed him, but that's fine. So he doesn't know if I'm Scarfed, and that's very scary for him. But he did go for Hidden Power Fighting on my Togekiss, but I don't know if the damage calcs could get a good reading to show that Hidden Power shows that I am specially defensive, because Hidden Power only did 3.5%. I could be bulky Scarf for all he knows. As he goes out into his Lucario here. So this is very good for me, because I can see if he's physical or special this turn. But the problem here is that I have to pick a sack. Now, I think my play to make is to sack my Tyranitar, as it is my most expendable Mon. And he goes for an Iron Tail, which really sucks. But he's physical, so he's probably going to have Crunch on his Lucario. So I'm going to go for a Superpower, as he goes for a close combat and lowers his speed. How much did a Scald do onto his Latios? Because I might be able to get a kill right now with Scald. Specs bulky Scald. Let's scroll up. How much did a Scald do to his Latios earlier in the game? This is very, very important calc. Of course I can't find it. Scald 24? Really? Yeah, Scald did 24, so he shows that he is not choiced. on the Lucario, and he's shown that he is not okay, so he's probably E-speed. So I'm gonna go out into my Keldeo. The reason why is because E-speed will be able to most likely kill my Entei, because I don't know if he's adamant. Obviously I can't go out into my Togekiss, and Psyshock will not be able to kill Lucario at -1 defense. It's close, but it actually does not kill. And I can't let my win condition get killed here. So what I'm going to do is go for a Icy Wind. Now I know this is a very weird play, but I'll explain why Icy Wind is the play. But let me confirm this logically here. Why did Skull do like 0 damage, but Sacred Fire did? Alright, let me do a calc here. Like, it's really confusing me, because is he like Spadef but no HP Latios or something? Latios. Blink set. Keldeo. My Little Pony. The God. Oh wow, he is. Oh my god, dude. Keldeo's just weak as fuck, never mind. So I'm gonna go for an Icy Wind right here. As he goes for an... Okay, that's fine. Because, okay, so the reason why I went for a Icy Wind is because I do get the outspeed onto his Lucario, and I do get the necessary damage, which is great for me. I'm gonna go for another Icy Wind. As I could also suggest that I'm not Specs, because I'm not... yeah, you don't only have to explain that during the team builder. The reason why I went for Icy Wind is because I'm trying to win with extreme speed on my Entei, right? The Latios is in range. His Scolpede that takes rocks is in range. If he switches out into his Keldeo, then it's going to take a lot of... Yeah, so basically all I have to do to win with my Entei is to get chip damage onto his Keldeo. As he goes for another E-speed. That's fine. Because I'm always going to click Icy Wind. I'm choice locked. Or else I would have went Scald if I was like Splash Plate. I get a crit. I didn't notice that. That's why he was upset. That's unfortunate. That does really suck, I guess. So I'm gonna double calc some things. Entei on Scolpede. He has to be like, extreme speed does not. Okay. So
why is everybody muted?
Oh, Carney, I'm recording, and they're just trying to hear my thoughts, essentially. I mean, yeah, it's whatever. As, yeah, I mean, once again, I guess I'll loosen up a little bit, because I feel very comfortable. No matter what he goes to revenge me, it's a speed tie with Keldeo, because I am max. Oh yeah, by the way, another thing is why I went for Icy Wind. There was a lot of things I was thinking of at the time I didn't fully explain. Is worst case scenario, if he Swords Dance, he did this, and that. I have Togekiss as well that can get the outspeeds now that his Icy Wind that he's slower. I needed Icy Wind to also make sure he's slower, which I can revenge with the with Air Slash, obviously. But last but not least is like his Latios is probably setup fodder for my Mew, but I haven't confirmed that. And as long as I play on the somewhat safer side, you know, he could be T-Wave for all I know, which would only be bad for my Mew because T-Wave's T-Wave. He's thinking, you know, once again, I'm continuously clicking Icy Wind, as he does go Lottie, and we catch him, and we hit, and we knock him out. Nice. So he goes out into his skull. He goes out into his Keldeo, which is perfect for me. I should be able to live Scald with my Togekiss if he's not Specs. And Specs Scald does not kill me as well. So when he revenges me, I guarantee he should be able to live a hit with my Togekiss. And I get a kill with Air Slash. There's no point in roosting. I might go for roost though, maybe. No, there's no point in going for that, because then I just, yeah, so basically that was a POW, by the way. Nice. I win a speed tie as he goes for a Scald, as that doesn't kill me and he doesn't get a burn. And as he's putting himself in range of extreme speed, that's why this damage is so beneficial. So now I guarantee get a kill with Air Slash. Right? Right. No second thoughts. And we click Air Slash and hopefully hit our Air Slash, because we're once again guaranteed a kill with Air Slash. His Scolipede cannot win the game unless he gets a... No, it can't win the game. Scolipede cannot win the game. I have a berry on my Togekiss, so I think... No, Togekiss does not live a... Yeah, I'm just gonna go for Air Slash here, because I'm guaranteed to kill. No second thoughts, no second thoughts. Because just in case he does go out and double into his Lucario as a sack, so he doesn't lose the banded E-Speed, which is a possible play, I'm guaranteed to Air Slash kill. Mew wins because I'm Tanga Berry, and I guarantee Oko everything on his team with Psy Shock. I don't even have to set up. I have a lot of bulk on Mew, a max HP Mew. This game, I think, is over. And I think I win game one. But obviously, we're not going to try to choke. We're not trying to get too cocky. All that nonsense. And he's thinking, if I was Schady right here, I'd probably just go out into Lucario, because you have to bank on a... Yep. Because you gotta bank on a choke, or your other play was to bank on a Air Slash miss. As I do not miss Air Slash, which is great for me. And if he's Life Orb, I guarantee. Well, we'll see. But anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna click on Air Slash because it's the correct play to make. And hopefully he's Life Orb once again, because he'll guarantee put himself in range of the Air Slash. If you're watching this, Schady, I'm sorry for the hacks, because you said stop earlier. I'm trying to understand why the hacks matter. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, in this series we got a bunch of hacks already. Nah. I treat each game individually, and unfortunately, well, this League War is pretty much over. I'm trying to see right now what hacks did I get. Well, Sacred Fire Burn, but that's 50-50. I got a crit Icy Wind. I wasn't really paying too much attention on how much it mattered at the time, because I was just locked in. I got the earth. Yeah. So Icy Wind crit, Earthquake crit, and then Sacred Fire burn. That was all. And then he didn't get the burn on my Keldeo. So things not necessarily going his way. Which sucks, but the Icy Wind crit irrelevant. The burn on Lottie helped me tremendously. So he goes for a protect. Do I live? I do live. That's game. Well, that's like super game now. I'm not gonna say GG. It's not GG yet until it's over. So here's another thing to keep in mind if you're doing League Wars or a best of 3 series is I didn't show my Mew. And that is so huge because he didn't show me. He did bring Clefable. I think Clefable was his most expendable mod on his team. But if you were going to bring Clefable, I thought his best set to bring was Unaware. Yeah, so I'm just going to click Air Slash. Because on paper, I don't know if he was toxic on his Zapdos, but I think on paper, his only ways of actually dealing with my Calm Mind Mew was his toxic Zapdos because he showed HP fire, HP fighting on his Latios. That's fine. Yes, that does beat the T-Tar. That means you're not trapped by T-Tar, but that means you don't have the coverage to hit Togekiss. You don't have, well, and if you do, you have Thunderbolt, which means now you don't have coverage, Calm Mind. So I can Calm Mind on your Lottie. As if he has sub, I mean, you might as well go for it and just kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm just gonna click Air Slash and this game should be over. Things to keep in mind for game 2 is I gotta think what his item was on Lucario, because like if I thought Life Orb was always your best set, but if you weren't Life Orb, you would be Choiced or you'd be Air Balloon, because Air Balloon makes it so you don't have to predict versus the Mega Garchomp, where there was you know, a turn where when it was Clefable versus Mega Garchomp, Zapdos, because it was so fast, it would have outsped my Entei. It would have outsped well, it already did because his Zapdos was so fast. I almost felt like I was in a position to go for Stone Edge, but thankfully I didn't. As I'm gonna go for a I'm gonna go out into my Mew first. Yes, he will see my spread, but this is like a guarantee best case scenario. Like Mew is, because I'm not gonna choke this game away because he has a chance to burn himself. Please don't have anything to hurt me. Yeah, so let's see if he burns it. Yep, so that's also the other reason why we went out into Mew first, to get the secret burning thingy. So GG. We win this one. Once again, I'm gonna bring the same Mew for game 2. I gotta figure out his most threatening mon to my team was his Zapdos. Scolipede was handled because I tried to keep a lot of offensive pressure onto it because I have Specs, Keldeo, Bandit, Entei, etc, super effective damage. But I also have 2 different berry mons, so he can't necessarily sweep me with the Scolipede. But I need to prepare for a faster Zapdos. I'm not sure how I'm gonna capitalize on that. I think it's just going to mean I might want to run. I'm not sure, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This was a very, very fun game, and signing out till next time. Peace.